Hi Capricorn and Capricorn Rising. Here is your general horoscope overview for 2025. Again, this is a basic look at what 2025 looks like. It's based on Western astrology using the tropical whole house system. But there's a lot of activity this year that is indicating things pertaining to a move, things pertaining to family dynamics. Relationships are on the table also as Jupiter makes its move into your opposite sign. And we have Saturn, which is going to switch signs, which is your ruler. So there is a lot of energy moving this year. The outer planets are all going to be moving into new signs. And Pluto already did that last year, lighting up that seventh house of income and value and investments. So we'll cover all of that. I'm going to give you as much information as possible here. And, we'll take a real hard look at what, this year kind of feels like. Okay, so let's go dive into it and see what we see. Now, the first thing we have to understand here is that it's a slow start to the new year. Why? Because of Mars retrograde. Now, this Mars is affecting everyone, especially if you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, because this is going to start off the new year in Leo, which is basically the cusp of your eighth house, but it's going to backtrack into Cancer, which is your seventh house. So the seventh house has to do with relationships. And since Mars is retrograde, what happens is issues from the past, people from the past, situations from the past could get a little touchy. They could get a little irritating. You said this, I said that, you did that, I did this. It's an irritating alignment where our motivation is being sort of reduced. And since it's in the seventh house for many of you, it's about maybe a little frustration within your relationships. So keep this in mind about how the year starts off. There's a lot of tension in the air because Mars is going to be opposing Pluto as well. And so that brings in a lot of tension. So keep that in mind. In the first 2 months of the year, all the way through February the 24th at least, the energy is going inward. It's going backwards. It's not, conducive to moving forward. Okay, the motivation is going to feel a little lacking. Okay, because Mars is the sign that represents motivation, and when it goes retrograde in Cancer, which it doesn't do too well in, it feels more emotional, more sensitive than normal. So this is how we start off the year. Sorry, it's not that I want to say this. It's just the way the dynamics are playing themselves out here. Okay, but there's good news here because Jupiter is going to enter that part of your chart the second half of the year. So there'll be a lot of improvement in the partnership sector. So let's dive in a little deeper here, and I will show you here these 4 planets that are going to be switching signs this year. And this is huge because anytime we have the outer planets making a move into a new sign, it brings in a new energy and a new vitality. And as you can see here, one of those signs, one of those planets is your ruler, Saturn. And this is going to switch signs on May the 24th and go into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. And this is going to be in that bottom part of your chart that has to do with your home life, and it has to do with your foundation. So many of you, I do believe, are going to be either moving or remodeling or doing something with family that is going to be a lot of effort to be put in. Okay. And at the same time, in March is a tremendous month for energy movement because we have eclipses in March as well. And we have a Venus retrograde, which I haven't gotten to yet, but Neptune will enter Aries as well. So we have this very, let's just say, fresh start energy acting up in that 4th house of yours. So your feelings, your foundation, family dynamics, real estate matters, remodeling, anything to do with the core of your being is going to be shaken a little bit this year. Okay, it's just the way it works. Now here's that Jupiter entering Cancer in June, which could be quite beneficial. And it again talks about relationships. It's suggesting something to do with relationships because it'll be in that 7th house of relationships. So the first couple of months of the year, it's a little tricky, it's a little irritating. But after June, things should be a little smoother because of Jupiter in Cancer. Now, the wild card this year is this one, Uranus in Gemini. Oh, boy. Uranus has been in Taurus, another earth sign, like yours, for the past 7 years or so, 7.5 years. And it's been basically in the fifth house of love, romance, speculation, children, and it's been revolutionizing that area of your life. Now that Uranus enters Gemini, which is a much more fidgety, communication-oriented sign, it enters your sixth house. So focus will be on health and well-being. We'll take care of pets, multitasking, juggling your daily routines, even more so, unpredictability in your daily routines. And so this is going to be monumental for many of you. So you can see how the dynamics of these energies from these four planets are indicating massive change on the partnership level, your home life and family dynamics, and even possibly your health and daily routine. Again, it all depends on your actual birth chart where all these fall and what kind of alignments they're in. Here are some of the dates that you really need to pay attention to, because events will take place, give or take a week or so on either side of the dates that I've given you here. And we'll just go over a little recap. January the 6th, Mars retrogrades back into Cancer. That is that seventh house of yours. And this is where the energy with partners gets a little tricky, or people from the past start coming back into your life. Now, this is big too. On January 11th, the North Node enters Pisces. The North Node is what we're striving for. It kind of gives us a direction of where we're going. And in Pisces, this is going to illuminate your third house of communication. So you're going to have all kinds of creative endeavors, a need to communicate, a need to express yourself. The artistic side of your life will start shining through in the next, I would say, 18 months because of this Pisces North Node. In February, the North Node conjuncts Neptune. Very creative time, very important conversations with friends and family. Could be a very emotional time too. So February, there's a lot of energy coming in, especially towards the end of February, because there's also Mars that comes out of retrograde on the 24th. So as Mars comes out of retrograde, then Venus goes into retrograde. Now this is important because Mercury, Mars, and Venus are the personal planets. And when they go retrograde, we tend to feel them more. And so at the beginning of March, Venus slows down to go retrograde in Aries in that fourth house. So once again, relationships from the past resurface. But at this time, it has to do with family dynamics, friends, neighbors, people you were emotionally involved in, childhood memories, childhood friendships. This is the theme here. Or maybe going back and living in a place that you used to live, or a neighborhood, a town, a building. Maybe you're reconnecting with, cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff like that, So that's going to be big at that time. At the end of March, the energy is really supercharged because there's an eclipse that's going to happen right before the 30th. And then Neptune enters Aries. There's that fourth house. And then there's a lunar eclipse in between all that. So March is a very pivotal turning point that you need to keep an eye on. Major events could occur in the month of March. Now, as we go into April and May, the energy is a little smoother, okay? Because at this point, by the 12th, Venus has come out of retrograde, and it starts picking up speed. But Saturn, your ruler, conjuncts the North Node. You're going to feel destined to do something here. This is going to be in Pisces, your third house. So you're going to have all kinds of ideas, and one that you really want to focus on could involve writing, speaking, taking short-distance traveling. This is going to be a very creative time for many of you in April and going into May as well. But May, here we see Jupiter squaring the North Nodes. You may have to make a decision or one that's a little bit difficult around May the 18th with regards to a direction where you're going, a job situation. That seems to be the theme here. But on May the 24th, Saturn, your ruler, enters Aries. Once again, that fourth house. So maybe you're buying land. Maybe you're building a house. Maybe you're doing something with the family structure that is completely changing. Maybe they moved in with you. Maybe they're moving out. Whatever it is, that Saturn is the sign of discipline and action, and then some sort of reward or activity. But it can be restrictive at times. So keep that in mind. Maybe you're taking care of an older parent. Saturn is mature adults. So there's something along those lines having to do with family dynamics, again, that are being highlighted around this May 24th. Now, on the 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer, that 7th house. It's going to bring up anything to do with relationships, learning, teaching, sharing wisdom, maybe being around children or seniors. This is going to be the general theme for the coming year after the 9th. But here is where it gets a little tricky. June the 15th and 18th, Jupiter squares Saturn in the 4th, Jupiter squares Neptune in the 4th. So there's definitely a family dynamic here, or a need to move or remodel or doing something with the home around this time. Okay, so we've got home here, Aries, see Aries, and then these are going to be in Aries. So again, we're seeing issues here in March that may repeat themselves in June. And then, of course, this wild card on July the 7th, Uranus enters Gemini, and that's going to really, send us all into a hypersphere in our minds, because Gemini rules the mind. So the need to communicate is going to go through the roof at this point. And so all kinds of ideas about work and health matters related to your diet, exercise program. This is all going to be in the works for many of you. Okay. So we also have some positive alignments here the second half of the year, especially in August, where Saturn will sextile, which is a favorable alignment, to Uranus. So we could have some really nice changes that are coming that might be surprising for you in August, relating to family matters or a new job situation or new responsibilities. Same thing goes for the 28th when Uranus sextiles Neptune. So we have that same sort of dynamic, but in a more creative way. Okay, but these are favorable alignments. Now, September is another one of those months that the energy is very high because of the eclipses. So we have another set of eclipses coming in September. But Jupiter is in a very favorable alignment to the North Node, which will be in that 3rd house of communication. So very important conversations are being had here in September about a partnership, about a relationship. Maybe you're doing a contract with somebody about your speaking engagement or writing or expressing yourself in some way. But this is going to be a lot of energy coming in here because of the eclipses. And I'll get to those eclipses in a minute. But then we have another positive alignment on November the 20th, where Uranus and Neptune have retrograded back into the previous signs. So the Uranus will be in Taurus once more, and Neptune will be in Pisces once more for the last time. In 2026, they both leave those signs and stay in the new signs. But this is a review period. November is a total review period for many of you, and this has a lot to do with your kids. Uranus in the 5th house, and Neptune will be in Pisces again, and it's about communication or writing or expressing yourself. So there's a very creative time, but a very reflective time as we wind down the year of 2025. Okay? Now let's talk about the elephant in the room here, which is Pluto in Aquarius, which is revolutionizing your 2nd house of income and values. So over the course of the next 19 years, there's a lot of transformation taking place, unseen forces that drive profound changes. Okay, and it's in Aquarius. This is thinking outside the box. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. It's going to go into Gemini this year. And so there's a tremendous amount of energy coming into your consciousness, having to do with creativity, having to do with ways you make income, or having to do with your investments and new opportunities. And so your mind is going to be very active during this period. And this should be a time where you really, set the trend in a new direction, So keep that in mind. But let me go back to this North Node here for a second, because here's the time frame that it's going to be spending time in Pisces. And I took the liberty of jotting this down. The North Node in Pisces is about embracing compassion, spirituality, creativity, and intuition while letting go of overanalyzing perfectionism. That's the South Node. And so these are the themes that I'm seeing here with the North Node. So it points a direction to that 3rd house. So this year is a year where you must show more compassion, listen to your intuition, because it's going to be very strong this year. And you will need to express yourself in some way a little bit more. Again, through art, through writing, through video, whatever it is, you're going to be doing more of it. Okay, so I took the liberty of putting this slide together to keep it as simple as possible. South Node is usually what we have to release. So you must release judgment towards self and others, a false sense of control, nitpicking, and micromanaging. While at the same time, you must embrace empathy, compassion, spirituality, faith in something greater than yourself. And usually what happens is with this North Node, people become either more spiritual or they become more religious. And so there's a lot of that that's going to happen this year. You know, they're going to find religion, or they're going to find something more meaningful in their lives. And that's what this is, the trending in your chart. Once again, Venus will go retrograde between March 1st and 2nd, all the way through April the 12th in that 4th house of home, feeling, and foundation. So if you guys like have a business or retail business, or a place that you that you're working out of or make money out of, you may be restructuring that, or you may be thinking about that, or the home life, or like I said, it could be relationships from the past that resurface. Now, here are the eclipses that I want to focus on for a minute here, because this lunar eclipse is going to be in Virgo. And this has a lot to do with your 9th house of learning, exploration, traveling, meaning of life, the higher purpose. And so around this time, again, that March energy is really high. You're going to be questioning your belief system. You're going to be questioning what it is that you're here to do. You're going to be questioning all of it, because it's an analytical Virgo. But at the same time, the lunar eclipse is bringing things to light so you could basically understand them and then release them, or move on from an idea, a concept, that you've been holding on to for a very long time, that's not working anymore. And so this is absolutely an energy that will affect many of you. Now, at the same time, a few weeks later, the solar eclipse, which is new opportunities, a new doorway that's opening up, March the 29th, is in that 4th house of home, feeling, and foundation. So, and it's in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, which usually indicates a new beginning of some kind. So I would highly suggest after April the 12th, to put the wheels in motion for some sort of new activity having to do with your home and your family and the dynamics around that. Maybe you're doing some land, new job that involves real estate or land, or you're moving or remodeling or whatever it is, in your own personal birth chart. This is going to activate all that energy. And then we have 6 months later, we have the cycles again coming in, and the lunar eclipse this time is in Pisces, your 3rd house of communication. So you will be coming to understand your thinking and what's not working for you in terms of how you process information, how you give, how you sacrifice yourself, the compassion you've been giving and it's not been received. Self-worth issues may be really on the table around this one. But then we have a positive solar eclipse in Virgo in the 9th house. So we had one here that's saying let go of all the old belief systems, and now we have something new coming in that's saying I need to reinvent myself. I need to start a new exercise program. I need to be traveling more. So you're seeing the world from a different perspective at this time. Okay? So once again, here's a recap of the major trends and the dates. So you want to keep an eye on these. Here is your ruler with Neptune. They're going to be together very strong in that 4th house of yours. And there's the dates, especially in 2026, which really looks good because the outer planets will be making favorable alignments to both Saturn and Neptune. So 2026 looks really nice. So let's see how it plays itself out. But then we have Jupiter entering your 7th house, and there's the dates to June the 29th of 2026. This is a great time to venture out, to meet new people, to have more fun, and enjoy yourself, and expand your friend zone and the people in your life. And those of you that are single, maybe you'll meet somebody that you really enjoy spending time with, that kind of stuff. So, but it looks really good. Jupiter works very well in Cancer. So this could be a really good year for that, the second half of the year. July the 7th through November the 7th, Uranus, the wild card, is going to be in Gemini, and that is your 6th house. Daily routine, health matters, taking care of others, responsibility, pets. This all falls under the umbrella. So it's going to be a wild ride between this time frame. Let's just put it that way. You're going to be doing things in an innovative way, thinking outside the box, and trying to bring in more technology and innovation and communication. So there's a lot of that the second half of the year. Lots of communication, lots of need to express yourself. All right. And once again, these are the positive alignments that I see around these dates that you need to take advantage of. And September becomes that other month where the other eclipses will take hold, and major changes in September as well. There you go, right there. There's the other September the 7th and the 21st opens up a major doorway for many of you going in a new direction and a new belief system. Okay, so this is going to be really important. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I also have an extended version of this presentation where I dive deeper into the charts and we go into more detail. So if you're interested, there's a link down below in the description. There's a free 7-day trial, so you can check it out and see if you like it. But there I also teach, I do the weekly astrology, I teach astrology, we do Zoom calls every Sunday. I'm also been teaching remote viewing there. I'll probably be teaching, how to use your intuition. You could ask me all the questions you want about your chart, and I go over that with people. And so there's a lot more interaction here because it's a more intimate setting. Okay, so anyway, there you have it. Have a great new year. It's going to be one for the yearbooks. And I look forward to talking to you soon. All right. Bye for now.